They might be self-aware.
Gary here, professional voice actor, feeding quarters into a Shell station payphone like it owes me a career. This week on They Might Be Self-Aware, Burger King's AI now coaches workers on friendliness, which nobody's coached me on once. Meanwhile, the DMV's AI did accents wrong and still got more callbacks than me. Jack Dorsey, yeah, the former Twitter guy, cut 40% of his new company, Block, while profits were up, saying the AI made him do it. Which, fun fact, the guy's explained is basically just the Pareto principle. And Daniel Bishop is now 40% digital, which is 40% more than me. Me amo es Gary. I tried smiling with my eyes to keep my job. I don't think it's working. Enjoy the show!
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
The machine has awoken inside the global freakout to bottle consciousness. And you are watching it all unfold right here on They Might Be Self-Aware. I am Hunter Powers, joined by the bottled consciousness himself.
Brain in the jar, Daniel Bishop, or if we want to make a young Frankenstein reference to really, again, the most timely references that we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Oh God, such a good movie. Such a good movie.
Daniel,
that's what you were talking about, right?
I see you're still not Daniel.
No. Can we make me look like I'm from the movie Young Frankenstein? I'm just making more work for Hunter here, but maybe you will. We'll see.
What would Daniel look like? All right, noted.
I'm in black and white now, I guess, right?
Yeah, it would definitely be black and white.
Okay, great.
Frankenstein-y version of Daniel.
Oh, with the bolts coming out of the neck and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Make me into a Frankenstein's monster. I love that. Honestly, let's just do that for the whole episode.
This is your version of a protest creating more work for me.
People are wondering, did they record this around Halloween? Is that why he looks like a... No, he made a reference at the very beginning of the show, and they decided to stick with it because Hunter didn't want to have extra work. And you know what? That's fair. I make enough for him. Right here on... What if that was the whole episode? What if we just cut right there?
Is this punishment
a real short one
for my accents, Daniel? Is that what's happening here?
You've offended me for the last time. I'm not going to hear you do another... I'm never hearing you do another one.
I think it was really prescient because accents are sort of in the AI news this week.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently
you're not about to do another one.
AI. Well, I don't have to. Okay. Let's listen in, folks. This is the Seattle, Washington State Department of Licensing. Also, we're sometimes referred to as the DMV. We're going to listen in for 25 seconds as an unsuspecting caller calls in.
Please press 1 for English. 2 para español. Dribla rusko. So, thank you for calling the Department of Licensing Customer Support Center. For assistance with scheduling a driver licensing office appointment, canceling an existing appointment, or questions about an upcoming appointment, please.
So, to press 2, right?
Press 2 for Spanish, not Spanish the language.
Thank you for listening to them. I can't do it, Daniel.
So, okay, you and I worked in software. I'm pretty sure I know what happened here. Somebody with exactly zero checking of their work was told, use some off-the-shelf AI program to translate this, or it needs for Spanish press 2. We don't have anyone that speaks Spanish here. Get a recording of it. Okay, person goes to something. I don't know if it's 11 Labs. I don't know if it's whatever, but they chose Spanish accented English instead of Spanish the language.
What I'm guessing is they gave him a system prompt. Like you are a native Spanish speaker from this city in Mexico, and you are a customer support representative with the Seattle. And so they gave the persona, and which led to, hello, this is I can't do it.
Maybe
so
it's
sorry.
that they gave it English instead of Spanish, and then
Yes, this is my hypothesis.
decided to just read it with like
It was a
an
system
offensive
prompt.
accent,
Yes,
I guess.
they made this personality.
An offensive accent if an AI does it. I mean, like, because it was trying its hardest. Obviously,
yeah, maybe
there
this
was
is trend setting.
authenticity attempted.
That's what you and I, we both currently live in the state of North Carolina, where sometimes a Southern accent comes into play. And I think the next time I call the DMV and press 1 for English, that's, hi, y'all. Thank you for calling the DMV. It's inevitable, right?
Hold on. No, I think you're onto something here. When you call into these different services,
Yes.
the DMV, the bank, the whatever, and they say, like, for English, press 1, for Spanish, press 2, para español, presione el opción. Like, okay, sure. What if you could, I mean, it's the same as, what if you could listen to different music while you're on hold? What if you could just say, for this automated system, I want you to use, like, upper class British English. I want you to use, like, radio standard American English. I want you to, give me, like, just full on hillbilly prospector English. That'd be more fun. We need more whimsy in the world. There's a lot of, I will say, decidedly unwhimsical stuff going on. My current visual appearance notwithstanding, because look at this. I'm awesome right now. But there are some non-whimsical things occurring on a global scale. And I really like the idea of embracing a smidge more whimsy. What if you could just, like, Crisp has a setting in it. Crisp, KRISP. I use it for like voice, or not voice, for noise cancellation. I think it's the best in the market. But what if they had something, and one of the, I'm rambling. Crisp has a thing where you can remove other people's heavy accents for, like, understanding. I think that at least it's coming from a good place to do that sort of thing. But I don't know. I like the idea of like a voice mod type thing that you could install on your phone to be like, hey, look, I'm going to call my grandma, but it would be hilarious if she had, like, a really German accent or use something like that just for fun. Why not?
I've been wearing my Meta glasses more recently. And one of the things there is that you can, it sort of is a kind of like a translator for the world. And so I can also imagine where I'm out and I'm having conversations, but what I'm hearing in my head is you with the personality that, like, I'd much rather be speaking to someone with proper English or like a strong Cockney accent. I'm sorry, folks, about the accents, but that could be fun. And I'm honestly, I'm wearing the Meta glasses now pretty much everywhere.
Well, yeah, we'll move into that. Hunter, I would recommend you don't do that, actually.
No, they look like normal sunglasses. Like, I don't think most people catch on that I've got incredible AI strapped to my head at pretty much all times.
I'm sure they're very stylish.
They're Ray-Bans.
I'm not going to get into your personal life on this podcast much.
Yeah, okay, our man.
Beep boop. But whenever you take video and pictures and whatnot with those glasses, I don't know if it's just you reviewing the footage of those. Maybe depending on what you're kind of into, that's fine. But supposedly Meta is getting into some sort of compliance and privacy problems with people watching, let's call it the intimate videos that might be being captured through those glasses.
What? Yeah. Well, so it is true that when you first adorn the glasses, just like everything else in technology, you get the giant long, do you agree? And then you have to, like, hit agree like 18 times as fast as you can. Sometimes they make you do that thing where you got to, like, scroll to the bottom before you're allowed to hit it. Cause, like,
is that way you read it?
That way you clearly read it. Oh, he scrolled to the bottom and then he clicked agree. Clearly he understood. Your Honor, he scrolled to the bottom. How can he possibly suggest he didn't read the thing? But yeah, same thing with the Meta glasses. You got to agree. And in there is a small little note, a little addendum, a little thing that they may use.
Your audio and visual stuff that you're doing it's going to be used to train the new models. We're making the future better, and you're helping us. Thank you. Also, it's not just the computers looking at the data that you gave us. People will be looking at that too. And granted, this is not shocking to me because we've worked in AI related things for years. We know that humans are a vital part of any training process for these things. They will help determine this is good data to be feeding it. This is bad data. Oh, this one needs to have the naughty flag on it. But like, yeah, people are going to be, if you have those meta AI glasses and you're doing anything that is not benign, shall we say, people might be watching that. I don't mean broadcast it to everyone, but like, it's not nobody that could be watching them.
And I guess it's probably happening in many places, but this expose that came out was from a facility in Kenya, in Africa, where they're reviewing this footage. It sounds to me like a South Park episode where there's this small village in Kenya that's watching everything that the Americans are doing, and it is absolutely heinous. And because it's most likely like things that are being flagged that are being sent to them for review. And so every day,
it's not the normal stuff.
The person in Kenya, who I'm sure we're paying a horribly low amount of money, has to put on their virtual reality headset and experience the absolute worst of the industrial capitalist complex, and it's just absolutely traumatized, and then go back to their. It really, we're living in an episode of South Park, folks. That's my.
It feels, like some sort of much worse version of like the Truman Show, where you get to, you're watching someone else live their own life.
And then when the drones go and blow up the data centers, they all clap because finally they don't have to go in and strap their headset and watch some American taking a whatever, something.
I'm reminded of another cartoon. It's, speaking of timely references, it's the Flintstones, and there was this recurring gag through them where like there'd be some bird dinosaur being used as like the lawnmower.
Hey, Daniel.
It's a living.
What would you look like if you were a character on the Flintstones?
Hey, look at Hanna-Barbera. We can even put in some fun like sound effects for me running in place. I don't know. But right, it was it's a living, and like, human annotators are generally in like really low paid parts of the world, and they aren't looking at like, I'll say normal conversations. They're going to be looking at the really weird stuff, and that's from like a data labeling of text perspective. Now imagine if it's the things that are flagged for review, unsafe, messed up. I think is just kind of as far as I'll go down that track. These are the things that are more likely to be looked at by the human moderators, and those human moderators are being paid really little to look at and read some truly bonkers stuff. Now, so this expose didn't, like, I suppose this is because not everyone realizes humans are going to be involved in the loop in these kinds of cases. And GDPR, especially like compliance concerns for Europe and so on, where like you're supposed to have any kind of privacy whatsoever. Glad to hear about that, Europe. Wish we had some. But I don't know. If we're going to have these AI devices and they're ever going to get better, we do need some kind of like review and improvement loop, right? Is there a fix for this, Hunter?
I mean, maybe one day the AI gets good enough to do the review loops in general, right? Because there are different models and there's different levels of reasoning, etc. And most likely they're already employing this, where at the end of the day, there's a human, but there does have to be the human sin eater right at the end of the line. Right now, that's the individual in Kenya watching someone take a giant every day while wearing their meta glasses.
Speaking of sin eaters, what's your favorite fast food restaurant?
I mean, I guess it's going to depend on what your definition of fast food is.
Let's say like a burger joint.
Well, a Shake Shack, but I don't like. They're not like a drive-thru place, so I don't know whether
Shake Shack that totally counts.
Okay, all right. I'm going Shake Shack then.
Service.
Shake Shack, easy answer.
Whatever you want to call it. I'd say probably like Sonic on my end.
Okay,
they make burgers, I think. Good shakes as well. They don't have a whole shack of them, but What are your thoughts on Burger King, Hunter?
I haven't been there in a while. I used to like they had good hats. I remember, and I think they were complimentary.
You could look like a king.
Was flame grilled? Was that Burger King was flame grilled? Did you watch this? Did you see the McDonald's CEO eating his big hamburger? Did that register in your realm of the world at all?
So at this point, by my count, we have the McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King CEOs all eating like one
finally,
of their
probably for the first time ever.
Yeah, quite possibly. The Burger King one, I think, went really well. It looked like a normal human being eating a burger and like, hey, good job, guys. The only thing this needs is some napkin. I think that's like what he says in the video. And then the McDonald's one, this is a tangent from where I was going, but
Yes.
it's worth going down. You guys need to watch these videos, please. Maybe Hunter's going to put a link in the description. If he doesn't, you've got to find them. Oh my God. The McDonald's one especially. It is the most like robotic. I'm not going to make fun of the guy's appearance, but he's not as, shall we say, handsome as like the Burger King CEO. But this guy is talking about the product. He doesn't say the burger. He holds it in a weird way and like takes the tiniest little bite and just starts going on in like marketing speech about the product. He's not eating a burger. It's a brand new product. And
look at this. How would anyone even so
weird? It was so weird.
Look at this cheese material on here. It's shiny and yellow. It's really elevating the senses.
I genuinely thought it was AI generated at first because it was like in that it was uncanny valley, but it was real.
So I think what you're getting at is there's a story in the New York Times that people I don't know that I agree with this narrative, but that people were really sort of excited by the quote unquote .com boom. And we're excited by this future where everything will be delivered automatically, instantly. It'll just appear for you. And the world was going to get easier. But somehow now with this AI boom, there's a lot of like, I'm concerned about what's happening and what like the actual implications of the technology are. And I guess Burger King has been starting to integrate some of the AI. So we're getting some hints of what AI in your life might look like.
They are. And when I describe this, I think some of you are going to have a gut reaction of like, oh, that doesn't sound good. But stick with me and I will describe how there's another industry that I know uses something very similar. And I don't think it's like it's dystopian, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. We'll get there. So Burger King is going to use AI to like be listening basically to the like headsets that the employees wear to check for friendliness based on, people using keywords like please and thank you and so on. And it's part of this bigger push for like AI. They're calling it the BK Assistant platform. So to help with like the drive-through conversations, it's also supposed to help look at equipment and inventory and other systems for like improving. To me, that sounds like quote unquote traditional machine learning, where you just have more systems that are like, I looked at inventory and like seasonal changes and so on. And okay, I think they should do X, Y, and Z and order this at this time to maximize your profit and minimize the inventory you have to hold on. Sure, great. But the thing in the headset, listening for like pleases and thank yous, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Right? Oh my God, this thing's listening. It's forcing me to speak a certain way.
So this is for the person that you're talking to through the drive-through window, which by the way is becoming less and less a thing. Speaker. Right. But it's becoming less and less a thing. AI is kind of already like taking a lot of that. So, I mean, all right. So now
rolled back a couple of times.
Yeah, now. Sure. But all right, so it's going to coach the person. That's essentially what it's coaching them. You say thank you. Say thank you. Say thank
coaching.
You.
Say thank you. Say, Daniel, say thank you.
Your manager might come by and be like, hey, Patty, the AI chatbot, says that you haven't been saying please enough.
Turn that frown upside down, Daniel.
And this does sound, again, kind of dystopian. However, this is literally a like customer service industry where you do have expectations for people to act a certain way when you're talking to customers.
Yes.
The automotive industry is much the same. I know that, for example, whenever you call up any dealership, they don't always, but they're supposed to say their name, say the name of the dealership. They're supposed to do, 13 different things. Make sure that they try and get you to come in for a new car. Make sure to mention at least one thing by name. Like there's this laundry list of stuff they're supposed to do on the phone. And the people who work at these places are dinged for not doing certain things, and they are coached. I really like that term that you used. They're coached to get better at their jobs. So I do think it is a little dystopian to be like, an AI will be listening to you to make sure you're friendly enough. But also, this is the exact sort of thing that like other companies exist to listen to the calls to then give you like coaching notes. It's just making it more automated. So as much as it sounds terrible on the surface, I don't actually find myself upset about this one.
And also, the alternative is they just get rid of the human. And so in this scenario, we're like, okay, we're actually like, we're going to maybe lean into the human part and we're going to focus the technology on trying to make the humans better. Because I don't think anyone disagrees that the person working the drive-through line should be someone who's trying to be very personable and friendly, and that probably is the right face of the brand to put out there. So rather than putting a robot in, let's try to make the humans better. But people are still taken aback by the story. It's the surveillance state thing, right?
Exactly. And I think like if you're in a customer service job and you're on the clock, I don't think that there is that expectation of privacy. It feels weird. We can say, well, it's not shock collars yet. Oh, you weren't smiling enough, gazap. But I don't think it has to go to like that sort of extreme. I think this really is a useful tool that can help people be better at their jobs. Now, forgetting the fairly straightforward, I'm going to help somebody order some burgers and fries and shakes and move them on with their day. Oh, I forgot to upsell them. I got a small electric shock for that. Going into like other customer service facing jobs, there can be more complexity to it, where imagine if you could have an AI that has looked at 300,000 customer interactions, 1 million plus, however many, but it's been trained on all that and it's seen what works and what doesn't. This is exactly what like marketers have been doing for forever. They try to find out a better way to advertise their product, make it more appealing. Why not take the human element of that and make it slightly more aligned toward like, oh, I'm halfway through this call with this person and I just got a note on the screen that says like, you have a 30% higher chance of closing the deal if you mention X, Y, or Z at this time. If you live off of like commissions,
right,
that's more money in your pocket. That's literally a boon to you.
Yeah,
as
fast
well as
food workers, you should be excited about this, and you heard it from Daniel. Get excited, folks. Stop resisting, and get your brain implants.
I don't like the way you're saying it, but I can't be upset with your words, unfortunately, because I am saying that I do think that this can be a good thing. It's probably going to be misused by the employers, but there's at least a world in which this is a net benefit to the people who it's being inflicted upon.
Okay, so Burger King is talking to all their fast food workers, and maybe this is one of the reasons why our great populace is frowning upon this AI revolution in front of us. But there was another story this week that some are considering prescient of the times that are coming, and that was Jack Dorsey and a rather large layoff at the company called Block. And I feel Block? Most people probably don't know who Jack Dorsey is, even though they should, and probably don't know what Block is, even though they probably have used their products.
Yes. So Block, if you've ever used Cash App,
and Square. Square was like the little thing that like clipped onto the cell phone, like iPhone in the headphone jack. So like if you bought anything from a random food truck, and they swiped your credit card on their iPhone, that was Square, and it still exists. And it's just the company that runs it is called Block.
This is like the alphabet to Google, like it's the parent company or whatever.
No, they just it was called Square, and they just renamed it to Block. So Jack Dorsey, who's the founder, if you don't know who he is or what he's most famous for, he founded a little company called Twitter.
Never heard of it.
Well, now it's called X and run by
great.
A certain Muskian that will remain unnamed. But anyways. Back to Blockland. Jack Dorsey, founder of Square, and also Cash App, and also several other sort of financial things. They rebranded to Block because there was also like a crypto blockchain play in there. But forget about that. A very successful company, a publicly traded company that is doing really well. All of a sudden announces, yeah, we know we're doing really well. Profits are actually up. But we're going to cut 40% of the workforce. And I know you're going to be surprised when I say the reason, but AI.
What? I'm shocked. Shocked.
Apple Intelligence. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that either, but apparently Apple Intelligence, which I still haven't seen. I own every Apple device and I'm looking for it. I still can't find it, but apparently no, AI, artificial intelligence. Sorry, folks.
Right. So they're saying, hey, smaller AI empowered teams. That's how we redefine the company.
Are they wrong?
I don't think that any of these big layoffs are just because of AI. I do think that like maybe there's an aspect of it. That's a huge percentage of a company to get rid of. It's almost 50%. You said 40. It's over 40. It's toward 50, somewhere in, between those two numbers. But the point is that's a lot of a company to just not have anymore. And this is on top of record profits, or at least I don't know if it's record, but they're
growing profits. They have good profits. They grew once again quarter over quarter. But by the way, their stock really ripped when they dropped 40% of their overhead.
Woof. I don't know how a company like Block operates. I can't fathom what those 4,000 plus people were doing. Is it possible that you could take any software development team, any marketing team, any sales team, any team, the UI designers, the copywriters, the this, the that, like really what percentage of those people are necessary to make a company run? Now, we've kind of gone through this in our own personal careers of like at company X or company Y, you're going to see like, okay, times are tight. We've got to get rid of a bunch of people to like keep the company afloat. And then you start to feel like, oh, we're at a bit of a skeleton crew here. Twitter X did very much the same thing whenever, this is what, a year-ish ago, they just cut a tremendous portion of their workforce. And people were joking, ourselves probably included, certainly me, that like maybe the entire company just like falls apart at this point. And it didn't. So like, I don't think Block is going to fall apart without that 4,000 people, but are they really going to see that level of improvement? I keep talking about how I'm a 2x plus engineer based off of the kind of work that AI can help me with.
I think there's multiple things at play, right? The answer is never so simple. So first, the thing that's not being said, they are returning to their pre-COVID numbers. And so during COVID, money kind of became free. And by free, it was that you could essentially borrow giant amounts of money and pay very, very, very little money to do that. And because of that, everyone was sort of incentivized to grow. And the market, this is a publicly traded companies, was rewarding this growth. Daniel and I were part of a company that decided to like double, triple in size and didn't really even know what it was going to do with when it was double or triple the size. But like that was people. That number. And another like insight into startups. There was a moment in time, and it still exists to some degree, but much less, where part of the valuation for a company was just how many engineers do you have employed? And part of it was you get $1 million of valuation for every engineer. This was just, again, the standardish number. Oh, how many engineers is your company currently employed? 30? Okay, we add $30 million to what your company is worth today. Oh, you have 50? Now we've added $50 million. So there was an actual economic reason to say higher. And when money became free, well, you can increase the value of your company just by increasing the size of it and having bigger brain. Look at all this brain power we have. And then all of a sudden money became not free after COVID. And so that's one angle. It's just all they're doing is returning to the pre-COVID numbers. Now, I also want to call upon our friend, the renowned Italian economist from the early 1900s, one of my favorites, Vilfredo Pareto, and his lovely Pareto principle. Are you familiar with the Pareto?
Okay.
You didn't know where I was going with that?
Principle. I keep forgetting that's what the guy's actual name is.
Yes.
This is the second time you've done this to me on this podcast. Who the hell is he talking about? Oh, right, the Pareto principle. Yes.
I love the Pareto principle. And because I believe in it, I really do believe in it. And I think it can be applied to almost anything. And the Pareto principle, so Vilfredo Pareto was this Italian economist who first made this observation. I think it was it about like, I got the wiki article up. It was something like sheep or something. And then it like quickly went into like real estate. And then it wasn't until like the late 1940s, I guess, where it started being repurposed as sort of everything. But it suggests that 80% of the outcome of anything comes from about 20% of the inputs. And so applied to business, it would suggest that 20% of the work you're doing is generating 80% of the profits. And then everything else, the other 80% of the work you're doing is generating the last 20%. So if you can isolate the 20% that's generating the 80%, you can now run your company for much cheaper, and at least as a ratio of inputs to outputs, it is wildly, wildly better. So conceptually, you could cut 80% of the workforce, cut 80% down to 20% and still maintain 80% of the profit or the output numbers. So this principle has existed since the 1900s, arguably forever, but first observed in the early 1900s. And so that's part of like what's at play. You've always been able to do this. You've always been able to make a giant cut and still maintain a surprisingly large amount of the outputs. It doesn't mean that it's not worth it for that extra, because what if, again, every employee adds another $10 million to your bottom line? You'd still want to expand. So that's a thing. And then we also have that
Block
other
is gambling on the idea of we can get rid of 40 to 50-ish% of our people and still have, probably, hopefully as much profit, right?
Arguably, that's what we've done with our show. Now that you are whatever exactly you are, Dan.
Digital. I'm working on it. We'll get all the way there.
40% Daniel.
I've been 40% laid off.
40%ed.
So there's a really interesting, like the flip side of this coin is Block as a company is betting on AI, at least, publicly. They're betting on AI to help them do more with less. They are not betting, therefore, on it to do more with same. Because whenever we talk about like, this could make anyone a 10x engineer, this could like increase your ability to ship features faster. And I keep having this feeling in the back of my head of like, maybe this isn't going to show as everything, all the numbers, all the revenue, all the economic indicators, all of them go up 10x. It doesn't seem like that's actually happening. It seems like the economy grows at the same rate that it's always done. And so the benefits of using AI might indeed be coming from a smaller workforce doing that, which you follow that thread a little bit, and then we start looking at, okay, well, what happens once 40% of the United States workforce is not needed to keep the economy chugging at the same level that does, even though those 40% people without jobs don't then have money to make the economy go? I think we're getting into a weird economic state, and possibly sooner rather than later.
Part of the cuts are also highly focused on the management layer, which is interesting to me. And I don't know that I'm completely aligned with, although I've got a lot of experience in management, so maybe I'm biased. But the new model in this AI-enabled world. So part of the hypothesis is that basically every individual can now do a lot more and can manage a lot more because they have all this AI tooling to help them out. Because on the most simplest level, they can open up ChatGPT or Claude to help them complete. You don't need a manager to help you anymore. You use ChatGPT. And so the resulting reporting structures are starting to look like, and these are in giant companies like in Meta, you've got 50 people reporting into one person now. 50 people. And as a manager, this is kind of like unfathomable to me to have 50 direct reports.
Your one-on-ones are...
You're not having one-on-ones. Like those are going away.
Constant. Yeah. Well, apparently.
You can't have 50. I think I've had 20 direct reports before, but I think that was like a temporary thing, but 50, wow. But I don't know. It's an interesting challenge. But the idea that
50 agents, like AI agents?
No. In this, it's 50 humans. And especially when all of those humans are theoretically now outputting whatever the multiple is of what they used to output. And now you have one human at the head of 50 that are in theory outputting somewhere between 3 and 10 times as much work before, trying to keep it all in alignment. Wow. Well, I want to know what happens to those people and these increasingly, I guess it's like, instead of the top heavy organization, it's the bottom heavy organization, right? It's the flat organization.
Flat. Okay. That's another way of putting it. Yes. One that anyone else has ever used before. Suppose that you, a listener, have a desire to learn more about what's going on with these flat organizations and AI multipliers and, well, okay. Let's say that you wanted to hear, about the AI industry as a whole.
Yes,
you want to
Daniel.
learn, are we all out of a job? Are there going to be more jobs? Was that me teasing something for next episode?
I want to learn about my future and fast food and how the AI will just be talking to me all day, telling me, smile, please, smile.
Bigger smile. Bigger smile.
Do more. Smile with your eyes.
You're not smiling enough with your eyes. Hunter, if people want to learn
how to smile
about
with
their
their
future
eyes,
in fast food and smiling with their eyes, where would they go to?
It's easy, Daniel.
learn?
It's so easy. Number one, you could just join Burger King and they will teach you. But if you don't want to submit your employment application to Burger King, the second option, and it is a distant second. I'm just going to be honest, it's a distant second. You could subscribe to this show right now. It is cheaper though. It's free. Burger King, you're going to have to go and work 40 hours a week.
They give you money if you work it.
Yeah, but you got to go and do. Nobody wants to do the work, Daniel. Everybody they want to cheat. They want to just tell me the answer. If you want to know the answers for free, hit subscribe. Okay, that's our value prop to you. You're all kings and queens to us right here on.
They might be self-aware,